Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Christ is risen. Indeed, he has risen. This is your girl, Sophia Spiritual Light. Thank you for tuning in to our Don't Miss It headline news for the week. This is for the week of April 14th through April 20th. This was Easter week. So we're going to go through the headlines, and actually it's not a whole lot of news, so we should be able to get through this pretty quickly. So Monday, April 14th, 2025. This is a Proverbs 26 day. Pfizer abandons weight loss pill. No comments, right? 5 women go into space on Blue Origin, including Gayle King and Katy Perry. And BP makes an oil discovery in the Gulf of America. Carmelo Anthony is released on house arrest. This is the young man from Texas. Vance breaks Ohio State trophy without comment. Hamas is ready to end the Gaza war. This is the 113th anniversary of the Titanic sinking. Women are not born with all their eggs. We actually develop eggs as time goes along. Argentina is ready for a trade deal. We have 540 billion in lithium found in California's Dead Sea. Israel bombs only Christian hospital in Gaza on Palm Sunday. We have a 5.2 earthquake in Southern California. NVIDIA is going to manufacture all its U.S. products in the U.S. Massive sandstorm blankets Iraq. Hanuman Chalisa mantra is something that I find out about, which is really great. You should look that up. Harvard gets $2.2 billion funding freeze. The scandal starting to erupt that ActBlue uses senior citizens for fake donations. Long-term support of Israel is non-existent. So when the boomers are gone, the support for Israel is gone. 4chan is hacked, and basically it's done. It's dead. Ye thinks the music industry is trying to erase him and replace him with Kendrick, which is not what's happening. He just doesn't know, okay? Poor guy. Lord have mercy. All right, Tuesday, April the 15th, 2025. This is a Proverbs 27 day. Maldives bans Israelis. China tells airlines to stop Boeing delivery. Mario drops a song called Fish Doorbell, which is quite hilarious. Trump plans to expedite permits. Virginia Governor Youngkin wants to hire fired federal workers in the states, which I think is a horrible idea. There's going to be a 21% tomato tariff on Mexico. Oversight Committee is going to look into the 23andMe bankruptcy, where they're basically selling everybody's DNA to the highest bidder. Jamie Dimon says that deleveraging treasuries is over. Trump signs an executive order on prescription drugs to lower the prices. 2 Pentagon officials are placed on leave for leaking. Boomers start to realize houses aren't going to be their retirement income. Hong Kong suspends U.S. bound postal goods. And this is because in Hong Kong, in China, they don't actually charge postage. Somebody just drops something in the mail and gets delivered. They don't charge for postage. And so in order to send it out of the country, they're going to have to start charging somebody for this postage. Okay. All right. 1,000 faith leaders call for school choice to include religious schools, which right now it doesn't. 20,000 IRS agents so far have taken the buyouts. GNX is the top 100 most streamed rap albums. Mind you, this album has only been out since December, okay? Biden gives a speech that is a complete disaster, and he talks about colored kids on the school bus. So his words exactly. Department of Interior transfers land to the Army to use for, of course, protecting against illegal immigration. The New York Attorney General is going to be investigated for her blatant mortgage fraud. The two Pentagon leakers are fired. So first they're placed on leave and then they're fired basically in the same day. El Salvador is now a global entry partner. It's very safe to visit. EPA attacks companies poisoning the skies. They start sending out letters. The H-1B pay requirements are going to increase for those H-1B visas. Ohio mayor tells entire school board to resign or face child explicit images charges because they allowed these transgender some kind of books in the school. So it's crazy out here, right? All right, so Wednesday, April the 16th, 2025, it's the Proverbs 28 day. Up to 40% of IRS staff may leave. UK courts decides that girls are girls. This is a huge surprise to everyone. Gayle King, who was on that Blue Origin flight, responds to the controversy. She's really upset. Marvin Sapp drops a new song called Close That Door, which is egregious, in my opinion. Rubio does an interview with Mike Benz on dismantling the censorship bureaucracy in the State Department. But it's in every department, so they've got a long way to go. IRS is going to rescind Harvard's tax-exempt status. Maryland Democrat Senator Van Hollen visits El Salvador. All right. Grassley asked the DOJ to investigate Code Pink as Chinese in origin. The DOJ releases gang member details. And then the White House has Patty Morin, who is an angel mom, do a press conference, essentially, which is horrific. In California, Valero Drilling is shutting down. Chris Krebs, who was in charge of CISA, which is the... Anyway, just say Chris Krebs is going to resign from Sentinel-1 because he lost his security clearance. Heinz Brazil uses grills, which are... And black people. Like, they're not grills on white people. They're grills on black people. Okay? Progesterone helps COVID, if you don't know. Washington football is close to an RFK deal. I will never call them whatever they call themselves. They mama named them Redskins. I'm going to call them Redskins, okay? Biden plan for countering domestic terrorism is made public. China bans missionary activity because, of course, Tulsi, Pete Hegseth, JD, and Susie Wiles stopped Trump from Iran invasion with Israel. Easter prayer service is held at the White House. JD is going to go to Italy and India this weekend. Iran talks in Rome on Saturday, so I think JD participates in that. Jake Lang announces pro-right protests for Austin Metcalf and the whole Carmelo Anthony thing. He just announced. Now, mind you, he was a J6er in jail for whatever, whoever this guy is, but he's going to do a pro-white protest, okay? The U.S. demands UK drops hate speech laws as a part of their tariff deal. Foreign commercial driver's license and non-domicile driver's license are very threatening to our roads here in America. Foreign aid is going to be cut by 75%. Michael Ealy is going to play Malcolm X, which is a good choice. We have tech to manipulate space and time, which some of us already know. CCOT turns prisoners into laborers to shorten the jail sentences. So, unlike in America where they want you to stay in jail forever, these people they're teaching these people how to work in factory settings, making clothes, and for every day that they work, they take a day, 2 days off their sentence. So if they have a 5-year if they have a 10-year sentence, if they work every day, then in 5 years they'll be able to get out. This is how they're rehabilitating their inmates. Of course, America has no plan for this. There's no rehabilitation process if you're an inmate in America, which is horrific. Okay? All right, Thursday, April the 17th, 2025. This is a Proverbs 29 day. Was Congress slow walking the reconciliation? It hasn't been passed. The budget hasn't been passed. The bill hasn't been passed. It seems like they're slow walking it because they thought Trump's support was going to tank, and then they wouldn't have to do it at all. So we're keeping an eye on Congress. Harvard will lose access to foreign students. So their tax exempt, they got $2 billion taken away from them. Their tax exempt status, and now no foreign students. And if you don't know, the reason why foreign students are important is because they pay full price, cash, and basically there's no downside to taking in foreign students. All right, Trump issues an executive order restoring seafood competition. Glenn Ivey is going to El Salvador, apparently to see the Maryland man, MS-13 gang member. Canada is exporting crude oil to China, which Canada's crude oil is just as bad as Venezuela's. At Department of Transportation, Duffy says Blue Origin tourists are not astronauts, okay? This is the fourth year anniversary of the Fauci lie about COVID. FDA is going to remove pharma insiders from committees, and they're also going to stop animal testing. GNC, the pill company, decided or lied about ownership and is on military bases. So they lied because they're actually owned by China, okay? Italian Prime Minister Meloni visits the White House, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau fires 1,500. All right, so Friday, April the 18th, 2025. This is a Proverbs 30 day, and also this is Good Friday, and this is the 250th anniversary of the Paul Revere ride, where he said the redcoats are coming, all right. First formal entry for de minimis as of May 2nd, and the de minimis is basically if a parcel is valued over, I think they said $100, they're going to actually inspect the packages, and they're going to have a fee that they charge, okay? All right, next red since frequency attacks over the eastern seaboard, that's visible on the radar. In Maryland news, while these representatives are worried about this El Salvadorian gang member, there's a huge fight that breaks out at Tanger Outlets, and this whole weekend in Maryland is horrible. It's a very, very dangerous and deadly weekend. While all these representatives are worried about this El Salvadorian gang member. Federal governments are going to be reclassified in a status called F, so it makes them easier to terminate. And if you go to the covid.gov website, you will see something you've never seen before. All right, so Saturday, April the 19th, 2025, this is a Proverbs 31 day. We have the Holy Fire in Jerusalem at 2:37 p.m. I post a little thing about that on my spiritual channel. If you don't know what the Holy Fire is, please look it up, okay? It's an Orthodox thing. All right, so 75% of FDA meds come from China, which is bad. SCOTUS told Trump no Alien Enemies Act is going to be allowed, which is kind of crazy. Coogler regains ownership of Sinners in 25 years, which is the end of the studio system. The studio system in Hollywood only runs because these people own everything forever. But he's going to regain it in 25 years, the ownership of it. And that's the end of the studio system. And the movie Sinners is a huge success. I have not seen it. All right, U.S.-Iran round 2 talks in Rome. The Jake Lang protest, so the pro-white whatever protest, it completely fails. JD visits the Pope, which is a little interesting. Japan to ease imports for American cars. Putin attends Russian Pascha service. Florida bill to pay wages below minimum wage. They want to pay these kids nothing because they just can't live without their slaves here in Florida, okay? Apparently. A bunch of fights break out at Six Flags in Maryland. Again, very, very bad weekend. And the anniversary of the 1993 Waco murders is on this day, all right? So Sunday, April the 20th, 2025. Again, Christ is risen. This is Easter Sunday. Today we're reading Esther 1. All right, you have a Trump mean tweet that goes viral. The mean tweets, okay? Tom Homan eviscerates Van Hollen in relation to the whole MS-13 guy, all right? Shein tries to move productions out of China, but is blocked. This is the Christian New Year, the first day of the Christian New Year. And the totem animal for this year is going to be a duck. And a judge is busted with a TDA member living in his house. A judge, an actual judge. So this is the headline news for April the 14th through April the 20th, 2025. If you enjoy the long form content, please head over to our YouTube channel where we have the Don't Miss It podcast, where we go into these stories in a little bit more detail. We also read the executive orders, parse out some very, very interesting details if you are more so interested in long form content. So peace and blessings to each one of you all. See y'all in next week's video. Shalom.